While it's becoming redundant to say that Tucker won a competition, he won the veto, the hide and go veto, which is, crazy that he even won that. He's shown himself to be good in every kind of comp so far, except maybe memory. I don't think we've really seen him in a memory comp, like a hardcore memory comp or a competition about the game itself. Maybe that will be his Achilles heel. But so far, he's good at everything else, especially crapshoots. So we do have more equitable comps, but Tucker is still the comp beast of the season. For better or for worse, today I have to, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, cut apart his game because Twitter has pissed me off. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. But before we get there, let's first talk about his allies in Chemo, T-Core, and Rubina, and them trying to push their own agenda to Tucker this week, which is mostly they don't want Chelsea on the block, but Tucker seems to be wanting to do with his original plan, which is take Quinn off the block with the veto he won, put up Chelsea as a renom, which I personally think is really stupid for Tucker's game. It's just Tucker doing way too much per usual. I T-Core continues to get a lot of hate, and it's annoying me. Now, she is really bad at communicating. That is definitely a problem for T-Core's game. The fact that she can't speak up and, try and tell people what she wants. This happened with Quinn. Her and Chemo never really told Quinn about the whole Leah thing when they had the chance. And now T-Core isn't really communicating to Tucker that she doesn't want Chelsea on the block. But she's going crazy to some of the others about not wanting Chelsea on the block because she won't vote Chelsea out. Which, once again, for T-Core's game, that is the best thing. She should not want to vote Chelsea out. Chelsea is not coming for T-Core. I still see people trying to say that she is, but she's not. Chelsea said several times in the past couple days that she would not try to eliminate T-Core. So, yes, Chelsea is good for T-Core's game. But her lack of communication, I don't know. She's just not good at speaking up for herself, I guess, is her biggest issue with this game. She, however, always has the right idea of what she wants to do for her game, and she just is very slow to do it or never does it. And never doing it is a bad thing. Being slow to do it is not the worst thing in a Big Brother game because Big Brother is a very slow, long game. So it's actually best to not, go right for things all the time because socially, that's not great. But also, being so socially stunted that you can't communicate what you actually want of your game isn't going to work for T-Core either. However, she's still in a good spot. It's just that after this flip, she has not been able to further position herself to be in an even better spot. But she's still in a good spot after the flip, regardless, in my opinion. So all of these comments saying that she's the worst player is weird. It doesn't even make any logical sense. I'm sorry. Anybody that's saying that is mentally stunted themselves, or as Jared would have called them last season, redacted. I think they're pretty redacted because how is she even a bottom five player in the same house where you have MJ, who has about a brain this big? You could tell her anything, she might believe it. And then you have Quinn, who cannot shut up, just vomiting of the mouth. Brooklyn's put herself in a position to be eliminated this week. Tucker himself, which I'm going to get to, I think is an awful player overall. Like, he's great at comps, you can't take that away from him. But just being great at comps, I hate those kind of players, I'm sorry. At least give me something else. This has been Tucker's game this week that is annoying me because he could be good socially. As it stands right now in this HOH, he's in a really good spot. He has Brooklyn and Chelsea, MJ thinking he doesn't lie. They don't even want to target him next. Cam, he's kind of a non-factor right now, but I even think he has Cam being okay with Tucker right now, despite Tucker nominating Cam on the block. he has this idea where he's telling people Quinn's the target, and he's not. So socially, where it stands right now, Tucker could actually be in a great spot. But instead, Tucker just wants to rely on his comp wins. Which sure, he's kicking ass. Fine. But it is dumb to only just rely on that. I'm sorry. How can we sit here, criticize Quinn for being sloppy when I think Tucker's been very sloppy as HOH so far? It's one thing to go around and tell the people against you all these lies, and he's doing a good job of it because they believe him because he hasn't lied. But over the past 24 hours, he's been telling his own allies different things. Yesterday, he had a conversation with Chemo where he said it's probably best I keep things the same. But then later, once other members came into the HOH room, he's running through scenarios. But then he tells Angela he's going to stick to the same plan. He's going to take Quinn off the block, put up Chelsea. I don't know. I just felt like he was going around telling his own alliance members separate things about what's best for the game. I think from Tucker, he just... There's a narcissistic quality to Tucker. Him and Quinn have a lot of similarities, because Quinn does have this giant ego that has got him in trouble so far in this game, and I think Tucker has the same thing. In that same conversation with Chemo yesterday, it seems like he's just ranking players on their comp ability. So in Tucker's mind, comps are the end-all be-all of Big Brother, which this season is unfortunately kind of making true once again. It's my biggest gripe with the show for quite a few seasons now, that they rely so heavily on comps. We now have this AI arena, so there is another comp. I hope that twist is over this week, because if it keeps going, I'm going to be very irritated, because it only helps players like Tucker this season, because a lot of these people clearly aren't good at comps, and he is. But anyway, he's ranking all these players on their comp ability, but there's more to the game than comp ability. So yeah, Tucker just continues to want to hear the things that he wants to hear. If people don't tell him what he wants to hear, oh well, then he either doesn't believe them or he doesn't care. I don't think he actually listens to people either, because he's going around saying everyone lied to him about the vote except for Brooklyn. But that wasn't true from what I saw on feeds when Cam was talking to him about the vote. Even I think Chelsea was trying to wiggle her way out of it a bit, but Cam wasn't. But he says only Brooklyn told the truth. I don't know. I think Tucker's trying to justify in his mind to make some other big dramatic move because he doesn't care. He just wants to rely on his comp abilities. It's terrible gameplay. Like, if he is just like Quinn. I'm sorry. The biggest difference is that Quinn cannot back up all of his mistakes with comp wins. Tucker can. He can keep relying on these comp wins, so that makes him this sloppy bad player. But I don't feel like enough people are calling Tucker out on it. In fact, there's like this, woe is Tucker. Why are his alliance members, not listening to him? Why are his alliance members wanting what's best for their own game? Gee, I don't know. Maybe because they're actually playing their own game. We should actually be thankful for that. I mean, I don't know if Rubena's playing her own game. But Chemo and Tico are trying to play their own game. I feel like Tico and Chemo are getting all this hate for just trying to play the game. When you got people like Leah, MJ, Cam, not even playing the game. So I don't know why we gotta hate on Chemo and Tico for playing the game. Yeah, they talk in circles sometimes. They're slow to make the moves, but at least they have made the moves. I mean, that flip was the biggest move of the season. None of these comp wins from Tucker are these big moves. I mean, even going back, Tucker put himself in the position he's in when he volunteered to be on the block, when he wanted to not use the veto on himself and try and push his own agenda. He threw a fit about it, made this big flashy move that he was going to win the AI Arena. He did, because he can back up his game in comp wins, but Tucker continues to put Tucker's target is all Tucker's fault, is all I'm trying to say here. He is a bad player. Great at comps, bad player overall. So I don't know why we got to criticize T-Core and Chemo for kind of being annoyed with Tucker that he's not listening to his own alliance members. Yeah, Tucker's HOH, good for Tucker. But that power ends in about 24 hours. He got no power left as HOH after that. So that I go back to this and this whole nomination thing is because if Tucker would just leave the nominations the same, he's in a great spot socially. He doesn't have to get more blood on his hands. He can say, my target's Quinn. Quinn stays. But how is that Tucker's problem? He was HOH. He didn't vote. Instead, Tucker wants to go around not listening to his own alliance members when he could just throw them under the bus if he needed to. Because, I mean, either way, according to Tucker, he's going to have blood on his hands. He's going to be the target. Yeah, it's your own fault because you're winning all these comps now. Which, this competition, the veto competition, is like, it really is a crapshoot. Like, yeah, he won, but it's not like he won because he was trying hard to win. I mean, I guess maybe he was. He's such a competitor. But, like, it really is a crapshoot. The hide and go veto is a crapshoot. Despite that, I mean, he still won, so that further grows his own target. I don't know. I'm just very perplexed as to why he always has to be over the top with this shit. Because either 3-4 of these people going is good for his game. In fact, the argument could be made that Quinn going is the best for Tucker's game. Quinn is the only person right now who I think would take an immediate shot at Tucker if he had the chance. Brooklyn is so pissed at Tikor, Chemo, Joseph. I think those are her first targets in mind. I think Chelsea would probably maybe come around to the fact that backdooring Tucker is the best game move because Chelsea is a thinker. But yeah, I think Quinn going is actually the best for Tucker's game, which just further drives home my point that he sucks at this game that isn't competitions. Like, he's going around today saying, oh, everybody just thinks I'm good at competitions, but I got this mental game too. I ain't seeing it. Because if you actually had the mental game, you'd have some finesse this week, and you would leave noms the same and realize, actually, that puts me in a better spot because I have people all around buying what I'm selling. But he doesn't realize that. He would rather rely on competitions wins. And he's doing great at them, but I don't think that's impressive to me when he also put himself in the same position to make himself a bigger target. But whatever. I mean, I get why Tucker is still liked. I don't dislike him. I mean, he has brought entertainment to the season, but gameplay, he ain't got it. In fact, I think Chemo and Tikor are both better players than Tucker overall. It's just that they have not been able to rely on their comp wins as of yet in a season so far that is comp win heavy. And where Tikor is concerned, I kind of feel like she's in an Azza spot. And if anybody was around during Big Brother 23, which most of you probably weren't back then on my channel, I had to get on here every night and defend Azza. I can't do that for Tikor. It's not that I dislike Tikor. I just liked Azza a lot. I thought her social game was great, and I was right the entire season. Everybody was like, oh, Tiffany did this, Tiffany did that. And at the end of the day, the only thing Tiffany did was have a terrible social game, while Azza had a great social game and made Final 3. I still think, however, while I'm not going to defend her every day, Tikor always knows what's best for her game. She has a very hard time getting around her feeling sorry for herself for having to make moves, which is very annoying. But she does usually come around to the right ideas. Just how her execution works sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. Lastly, got to give Joseph some credit. I think right now he has the best social game going. I think he's been able, after this flip, even though he flipped at the last second, to get on a lot of people's good sides again. He has the best social game going. I think he's setting himself very well. Getting out Tucker is going to be a hard thing for him in the future, but right now I think he's good at seeing people as shields in front of him. Tucker's one of his shields. He's wanted Cam and Leah to be a thing in front of him as one of his shields. I don't know. Joseph's a good thinker. He has the mental part of this game down, but also the social part of this game down. The only other person whose social game I like, but she hasn't been doing as good of a job, is Chelsea. And Chelsea could go home this week, so that couldn't hurt her game, obviously, because she'll be gone. But I saw a glimpse of that again last night in her conversation with Leah. I think they had a good talk at times. Leah's been mad at Chelsea because she found out from Tucker that Chelsea was talking shit about her. But Chelsea showed glimpses of her good social game from the first few weeks last night. She needs to get that back together. If Brooklyn goes this week instead of Chelsea, then maybe Chelsea has... I think that could be good for Chelsea because she's kind of on her own at that point because Cam's a non-entity. I mean, Cam and Brooklyn... I mean, Brooklyn and Chelsea were both flaming Cam yesterday for having no social game, which he doesn't because he doesn't even try. But if Brooklyn goes, maybe Chelsea can get her social game back on track. We'll see.